welcome to the 40-year-old FUQ Boys podcast. I go by the name Black Pegasus.
And it's your boy, Dom Wannabe, back in the house once again.
All right, you guys, it is here right now. If you're ready, the
Black
legendary happened. Making legacies pop off.
Are these a big thing then? I've never seen these before, so yeah, man. They sound cool, man. Real good setup.
Yo, Ren. We had the Ren interview. You're about to watch it. Good God Almighty. So let's get that rolling. Obvious, the members, we put it out a couple days early so the members could see it first. But if you're watching this as a premiere, before we get started, a lot of times you guys are so generous, dropping super chats, super thank yous, all that stuff. So if you do that, we're giving you your flowers right now and just saying thank you for your support on the channel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, we both had nerves coming into this interview because we wanted to get it right. We had issues with the tech, all these things behind the scenes. But I can tell you right now that
it's a big interview, though. With Ben, massive interview for someone like of his level. I mean, they're quite big YouTubers, but to get an interview with Ben, man.
I mean, honestly, I don't think the interview could have gone any better. We had highs, we had lows. It was an amazing experience. Ren just made it easy to conversate with, and I really think you guys are going to love this interview.
Yeah, man. I was all worried about the audio and a bunch of different things. Everything went off seamlessly. So I'm very proud to present this to you. And in that little clip, you guys, I did a parody to Genesis, The Cat's Out the Bag, during this interview. So right after this releases, I'll go ahead and drop. It's called Mushy Peas. It's a parody to Genesis, so you guys can check it out. Hopefully it makes you laugh, not cry. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, yo, shout out to all you beautiful people. Like, share, and comment on all the content. If you rock with our vibe, subscribe to the damn channel. But most importantly, subscribe to Ren's channel. We need to get that brother to over 1 million and just keep this
100%. Obviously, so yesterday's live stream, I got over 500 views. I actually, when it got through in a day, everyone who sees this, make sure Ren and VV's guys, Pegasus, you give a like and a follow, man. It's only fair, man. It's only right.
Momentum rolling, you guys. So other than that, I hope you guys enjoy this interview. Here we go. 40-year-old what? Boys are back in town. 40 boys are back in town. 40-year-old boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. 40-year-old FUQ Boys podcast. Malt liquor for your ears. 40. All right, you guys, enjoy. All right, you guys, what is going on?
Here we go.
Welcome to a very special interview with the man, the myth, the legend. Ren is in the building. How you doing, brother man?
I'm feeling good, man, and it feels good to be here, man. I've watched a fair bit of your stuff, man, and I just wanted to start off, first of all, saying how appreciative I am, because I can see, and the ones these I've accepted have been the ones that I just feel like there's this genuine sort of like passion and excitement, and it leaks out of the stuff that you guys do. So yeah, I just want to say thank you first of all, man, because that support it means
just 1 second, guys. We're back in a second.
Well, because one, it's like it's incredible to come across an artist such as yourself, but even this opportunity, I don't know. This is just me being super sincere, bro. This doesn't happen every day. And like this actually means a lot to us, genuinely. You just jumping on, being so cool and down to earth, and like regardless, for me, like I'm actually a fan of I'm a fan of.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you very much.
Of what you're doing, and it's just it's crazy because at this age I'm discovering new genres. I was a hip hop kid, only listening to rap and like soul music, and then I'm like on YouTube discovering stuff, and I'm like, yo, it's an amazing world. So man, thank you. And actually, as we get this started, my man, did you want to add on to that?
Well, I wanted to say, for one thing, you were on time, which we were discussing.
You're on time.
We had people reach out to us to do the podcast and then stand us up.
Yeah.
This is true.
And, you know, this does way more for us than it does for you, in my opinion, right? So you didn't have to do any of this. And then ultimately, I've personally found a lot of artists don't do interviews because part of, you know, mainstream music is a mystique and an image. And sometimes when you start talking, your image, you know, flounders because, you know, the mystery is what kind of sells you as an artist in some cases. So for you to be so open and just like a genuine human being, connecting with people through your music and then being willing to have these conversations, I think says a lot about you.
Well, that's what I love about Ren. How he opens his up to everybody. I mean, the amount of love I've had off the people who like Ren. There's some famous people out there, the Renegades, and they give hard love. Just saying, man. Honestly, like, superb spot. Even people reaching out, giving me the forms I need for my YouTube video so I don't get copyrighted. People make sure that the videos are safe and stuff like that. People are doing all sorts of stuff for me, man. Because people can see that my channel is growing a little bit, and people try to help and stuff. So yeah, man, everyone's being good, man.
And I think it's very different than what I've personally seen in a lot of the music space.
No, I appreciate that. I feel like this is part of the new wave, man. Like, because we're kind of
100%.
We've moved away from like the gatekeepers, and I think what YouTube does, what artists can do for themselves these days, it's kind of almost like we're entering quite an exciting time where you can do a lot for yourselves, and that's why I just like with these sorts of things when I'm watching things that are like, oh, I'll be able to have just a really good human conversation with these people. That's why I said yes, because I was just like, to be honest, man, like just sitting down and having a good human chat is great. So I just that's what I wanted. Basically.
That's awesome. Now, with that, you know, just getting this interview started off, you know, we want to give you your flowers because I watch artists, I watch a bunch of stuff, and even like you put us on to what's his name, Dirt Miller.
Yeah. Right.
Like that he's low key fire. Like I was like, but you're out here spreading the love. So right now, man, we want to give you your flowers.
I give you some flowers, man.
You know what I mean? So these are for you, my man. What's your favorite color, actually?
It's all of those colors: red, purple, and green. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now, we wanted to give you your flowers for just being a real one. But then to add to that, it's just crazy because your fans are going crazy. Like they're hitting me up. Like I've never seen anything like this because I asked, what should we talk to Ren about? And one of the biggest things they said, they're like, give Ren a hug. They like tell him we love him, tell him he's having an impact on our life. Some people are telling me that you saved their life, which I know you hear some of this, but we want to give you your flowers for that.
Can you imagine?
So my man, you're the freaking man.
Damn.
So
I got
now,
a bad idea.
Can you imagine you save someone's life? You know, as an artist, you saved someone's life, man.
Yeah. So also, you know what's crazy is because of your videos, you basically, this is the first time I've ever heard of the word busking. I actually thought it was something sexual at first, to be absolutely honest with you. But
there's a similar word. I think it's called blumpking. I don't know if I can tell you.
So I'm giving you your flowers for putting me on to busking. Let's go. And last but not least, my man, Ren. You put me on, you introduced me to something crazy, okay? You introduced me to mushy peas. I don't know if you know this, but in Genesis, I actually thought that was guacamole. So I'm like, oh my God, I love fish and chips. He put guacamole with it? This is fire. Nice. Everyone is roasting me in the chat like, dude, you're an idiot. It's mushy peas. So let's get this started the right way, man. Let's give him his flowers. My man, for the mushy peas.
Nice.
There you go.
How many flowers has he got, man?
Quite fire.
No, actually, yes.
It would actually be pretty good. But mushy peas, man. Did you get some after you saw that and learned about them?
Man, life is all about synchronicity, because I've never had mushy peas in my life.
Oh,
so I went. There's a spot up the street in Colorado Springs called Chippy. British brother owns it. So I'm gonna try them right now. Is that okay? If I try the mushy peas?
Wait, are you popping your mushy peas cherry right now?
Yes, I've never had it before, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. Yeah. It sounds disgusting, bro. Yeah, like I hate peas. I hate peas, but let's do this. And then
I'm interested because I feel like it's like an acclimatized taste, you know. Like
okay.
Now, how does Ren eat his mushy peas? With salt or pepper? Salt, pepper.
No,
what do you eat?
You got to salt and pepper the chips. Yeah.
Okay.
Or salt and vinegar. Yes. Salt and vinegar.
You got to salt and pepper your chips. You got to. It's like criminal if you don't salt and pepper your chips. If you're not from UK, it's like the thing to do, man. You can't do that without. It's like criminal. You should be locked up for life if you don't do that.
If you want to go proper fresh with it, you don't do the pepper. You want to do salt and vinegar on a chip, and you want to take a chip, and you just want to dip it in there,
Dip
Dip
it
it
in.
right
Wow.
Dip it in.
This
Go
has
on.
salt and pepper.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Salt and pepper.
I went all out, man. I went
Yeah.
all out. All right,
Okay.
here we go.
Just give
Cherries. This is all right. Here we
it.
go.
What was saying? Do you want to take? Do you want to? Are you going to take a pair of flowers back?
Okay, you have to let me try it now because I've never had mushy peas.
Bro,
either.
so when I was young, peas and green beans made me want to like kind of gag.
Oh gosh,
I hate green beans and peas. But hey, here we go. One more for the road.
Oh, he's
right,
doing another for the road.
here we go.
Come on.
All right.
This is for the UK, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, come on.
You-
No, I
Actually, the second one's not that bad.
It
Kinda
grows
gives me,
on
like,
ya.
I hate the aftertaste, but it's kind of like some mushy. I mean, peas.
Yeah.
Kind of give me like a bean texture. Anyways, all right,
This
let's
is
get
what I
into
mean
the
about
realness.
it. You get used to it. I mean, we've had this since we were kids, and now, to be honest, I think mushy peas are kind of fire. What do you think?
I actually love it.
Yeah,
I
there we
actually
go.
like it. I grew up on like split pea soup, you know,
Yeah.
so
Ah,
you know, I always
If you're not from the UK, try mushy peas and chips, right? And try some fish with it as well. Mushy peas, chips, yeah. It's spot on, mate, honestly. Try it. It's like, English have done some good stuff over the years, but mushy peas and chips and fish, yeah. And vinegar.
ate my vegetables. So
Well,
here we go.
here we
I'm
go.
a fan
All right,
of
man.
mushy.
We're gonna PO box you these flowers in a cryogenic chamber.
P.O. box me the peas.
Yeah, no, the flowers.
There you
Yeah.
go. All right, let's get into this, man. We really do appreciate you being here. That's from the
My
bottom of
pleasure.
our hearts. Let's get into this. So, one of the things I wanted to start off with, watching some of your interviews. You're from Wales, which makes you Welsh, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. How's your family life? Your mom, your dad. I thought you mentioned something about them being hippies, taking you to festivals early in the game. How much have your family influenced you? And like, do you have siblings? I'm just super curious. Do you have any brothers, sisters?
Yeah, I've got a little sister. So we grew up like, yeah, we grew up pretty poor. Like there was a time we started off like we lived in this little small cottage in this little obscure Welsh village, and then my beautiful little sister came into the world when I was about 3 or 4 years old, and she was the force of nature, man. She still is amazing human being, big inspiration for me. And then we lived in a caravan for a little bit between houses, and then we rented and we moved into this small village called Dwyran. That was like the middle of nowhere. I said this on the other interview. Like we had one shop in the whole village that took you to like 25 minutes to walk to. That shut down, and then the nearest supermarket after that was like 40-minute drive. So we're talking rural, like very rural. And I think like, and then yeah, there was a lot from my mum and my dad. Because they separated when I started, probably when I was about a teenager, just coming into my teenage years. But before that, there was a lot of like, it's just super creative. Like my mum taught drama therapy, was a singing teacher. My dad was in like just a dabbler of loads of different folk instruments and stuff. And they were all, and my dad was also a psychotherapist, so he was always trying to help me explore.
His dad was a psychotherapist. That explains a lot about them. So someone who works in this industry and for over 20 years, your father and your mother has a lot to do with the guy you end up coming. And how Ren thinks and how he is explains a lot about his dad and stuff. So they raised a good human there.
Why and how I felt about certain things, which I think probably really helped with my music later on in life, just to kind of get in touch with that and also encouraging it rather than shutting it down, rather than having this very sort of westernized dialogue of a man is a man who he stands tough and he doesn't. And I'm actually as I've gotten older, I think there's a place for everything. Actually, I'm not just this big pusher of just toxic masculinity. So I think there are actually elements of being quite stoic. They're actually quite positive. And so, but also if you're unable to open up, that's when it becomes detrimental. I think when it's like there's a physical barrier for you not. That's when I think it does start becoming detrimental. So my dad encouraged a lot of that, and I think that was a really cool thing that I took from growing up in that environment as well. And they were just they were massive at the time. They were massive hippies. So every summer I got taken to these festivals, these like music festivals with them, and we just be left to our own devices to do whatever we want to do. And through that, I met a lot of amazing, very open-minded people. Because the school that I went to was very different. Like I grew up in it was quite a rough school, and I actually got kicked out of school when I was 10 years old for being a naughty little shit. And moved to the school. Yeah, I was quite. I think it must have been like an ADHD thing. Well, like me and my best mate Tom Bastable at the time, we were like mates, and we both got asked to leave together because we were just.
Hey guys, what's the comment say? So the whole old one, 22 said, brother, your music has impacted life massively. I genuinely appreciate you. It's all right, Rebecca. It's own starred love. It's going on for 2 hours, so you're well in time. You're well in time.
Terrible little kids. And then, yeah, and then I moved to a different school, but they told us we couldn't go to the same school together because we were like a bad influence on each other, basically. I went to one school, he went to another school, and but it was nice to have this juxtaposition of like, it was quite, and the kids that I'd hang out with as well, it's quite a rough upbringing, but then this juxtaposition of going to this like hippie festival that was promoting everything about just acceptance, openness, spaces free of judgment. It was like a polar opposite. But I wouldn't swap one for the other, if that makes sense. Like I think understanding both sides of these things, again, is something that I'm really
Ren's impacted a lot of people in this world.
Yeah, if that brings me back to High Ren, the poetry you did at the end, the pendulum, but I always it's always seems to be the answer that's right in front of us is balance. And me personally, I grew up, so I'm 43 years old, so I grew up in the toxic.
You look damn good for 43, bro. What are you doing?
I'll take it. A little exfoliation, actually.
It does look good for 43, in fairness.
My diet. We'll get into that, man. I have a section I want to talk to you about because I'm really drawn to your story because of other reasons within my life as well. But yeah, that stoicism, like balancing it, right? Because we're in this time where people will be like, "Oh, that's problematic," but it's this balance. It's like being able to open up 100%. And having a daughter. That's what started teaching me how to open up and be more of I think they call it emotional intelligence. So I totally feel that now. That's incredible with your family. How's your relationship with your mother and dad currently? Are they still a big part of your life?
Yeah, we definitely keep in touch. It's not like I'll catch up with both of them every couple of months or something on a call. Now that I'm out in Canada, we'll catch up and just kind of like talk about life and stuff. Funnily enough, the person I saw the most was actually my nan, who lived in just near Brighton. She sadly, she was old. She lived a good life, but she passed away last year. But I used to, because she lived like 20 minutes on the train. I'd go there quite a lot, and I'd see her quite a lot, and she was just wicked. Like, kept her humor. Like, it was funny. She passed away about the same. It was like a couple of weeks after the Queen, and like it always sticks with me. I went over there, and she was like, "The Queen's stealing my thunder, Ren." She was like, "This is meant to be my time to go out." Yeah. But no, that was funny. But yeah, and I keep in touch with my little sister a fair bit as well. And yeah, she's just someone who like always inspires me. She's not had I don't know what it is with me and her, but we haven't had easy rides growing up. But she hasn't had an easy ride either. And but her approach to life and how much positivity and she just puts herself out there. She's amazing. She's like one of my biggest inspirations for sure.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I wanted to hear, just a little bit more about your family and stuff like that.
And
that's the biggest thing. No matter what goes off in life, you don't let it stop you. You keep putting one foot forward and other, man. You got to keep going. Ren's just proof of it. If you want proof that you keep going, Ren is your guy.
People have asked us about that, in the comments and stuff like that. I definitely identify with your story because my dad used to take me to Rainbow Gatherings, which is a big like hippie festival. And it's like a similar vibe where you have all these different people. There'd be like punk rockers and like hippies and like all these people from all over the country. It was like a huge thing. And they would gather and basically just have like this big party with different like, places where they served food and like drum circles and all this wildness. But it exposed me to a lot of different cultures and ideas from a young age.
Because I think when you grow up with that, if I was to step into it now and I'd never been exposed to it, I'd be like, what the hell is this? But I think because I grew up in it, I understood it. And I think one of the biggest things I took away from it was like, in these little microcosms, like the social dynamics are so good. And that's always, I think, what I try to like bring to the wider world in some way. This is what I'm trying to do at least. But I really, the level of respect and tolerance for each other that enables like such creative space, I always just thought was so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's epic. Now, as we get into this, I wanted to get into the music a little bit. You're doing a rollout for your new hip hop album, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a name for the album yet?
Yeah, Sick Boy.
Sick Boy. Okay. I should actually. I think I knew that actually. Now that I think about it, but I wasn't sure. Now,
So this video, I ain't looked at how old this video is. It's Sick Boy's been out a while because I've reacted to that, so I know that much.
so you've been sitting on this material for what, a year and a half?
Yeah, some of it longer, man. So because some of the tracks snuck on that had been kind of like in partly work. You probably know this. Yeah, if you have
In Sick Boy, where he's had trouble with his song as well. I haven't seen it, but someone's basically told me that I need to watch a video to do with Sick Boy, and something goes wrong with his video. Someone claims something or something like that. So I something in a video I have to watch. But yeah, that's what someone said.
tracks that are sitting around for a while, and then you actually come back to one and go, actually, if I put a bit more work into this could be fire. And so a few of them were like a few tracks from a few years ago, but yeah, a lot of them were. So it was like, it was 2 years ago. I moved. I parted ways with my management at the time, and it was a bit of a nasty parting, and so like I came out of that just going like, I just want to make a record for fun. Like I just want to make a record that like, without any preconcept, without any like intent, without, I just want to do something. And I was just like, I really want to make a hip hop record because I love hip hop music. So I was just like, so that's what I did. And so I made this album, and then I had it, and I wasn't really gonna do such a big release for it, but then yeah, so I had this idea of High Ren that I'd been sitting on for a while, which was just like, and I had the idea already of this like back and forth between the positive and the negative. But I looked at it and I was like, I scrapped the whole thing, and then I started rewriting it, but with the same concept, and then that birthed, and it just kept growing and growing and growing. Initially, I was going to kill myself at the end of it, right? It was going to end at the demon part, and I remember showing it to my friend and being like, this is what I want it to be, and they were just like, it's such a bleak ending. Well, they were like, why don't you make a happy ending for once? Because like, a lot of my stuff is quite bleak, and I was like, and that I'm so glad that I went away and sat with that idea for a while, because the speech wouldn't have happened, the positive, hopeful part would have happened. I think that was so necessary to tie it together into what it actually was. I think that if it was, it would be so incomplete without that. So I went away. I remember sat on the beach, and that's where a lot of the lyrics came from. I was sat on the ocean floor and stuff like that. I was just sat on the beach, and I was
sat on the ocean floor in that verse in one of his songs.
I was out looking at the water. And that it all just like spewed onto the page, and then the speech as well. I must have been sat there by myself for hours, and then yeah, I just got really excited by it after that point, and then it all just came together after that. Yeah,
that's epic. There's weird things that happen as artists where something gets channeled to you. Sounds like when you were on the beach, it was just like channeling. I'm really happy that you listened and didn't off yourself at the end, because I'm crazy about this personally. I believe there's so much intention in music, and sometimes inadvertently we might bring things into our life. Like sometimes the music, or I always look at things as programs, and they open portals into our life. And even inadvertently, I'm like, do I want to say this on this record? But I did, like, so I think.
Hi, Rebecca. Oh, yeah, definitely. You have to watch Ren's 30-minute video about why Sick Boy is all platforms following KJ Beatdown. Yeah, 100%. But I'm going to do actually full video of it and release it like I do on my platform. If you remember to sub to my YouTube channel, you'll see that come soon. Yeah. There's another video coming out at 9 AM tomorrow. It's a bit of a surprise. It is on my channel. If you want to have a look, check it out. But it's coming at 9 AM tomorrow.
It's interesting how that happened. I think sometimes for art or theatrical purposes, when you're telling a certain type of story, yes, do what needs to be done in that moment. But then sometimes it's just weird how that works. But it's kind of interesting how that conversation with your mate changed the whole direction of, because I felt.
Cheers, Rebecca.
It also just gave the whole thing a different feeling, and then it became a lot more about my health then as well. I think when that last verse particularly, it became a lot more personal, and for me that's now, to be honest, it's the very last speech at the end that's my favorite part of that whole song. So I'm grateful for that little seed being planted, because that I think for me is really, it was the rawest I've ever spoken about.
Should be a banger. A lot of people. I'm intrigued as well. Why
I became a functional human again, who was able to start making music again. Like my health would always leak into my music because it was impossible for it not to. But I'd never touched on it so personally until I released that, and then it was nice, because it was like, oh, this thing that I've almost felt a little bit of shame about has actually opened so many doors just by being open, like being shameless about it. It's opened more doors. So it was a valuable lesson, I think.
Yeah, definitely. You being so sincere, authentic, and open connected with everyone, including myself. Like, it literally just opened our hearts. And then the other thing is us all just being human. It's so relatable, even though I might not be going through the autoimmune issues you're going through or certain things. Like, it touches you in your heart because you're like human. And these are all human emotions and thoughts we all go through. And it's almost like you answered the question at the end without answering it, because you were so neutral. Again, that's for me personally. I'm like, yo, life is just this weird balance we're all trying to figure out. But everything from the galaxy, the universe, our music, it kind of goes to this one thing, you know, everything in moderation or balance type of thing. And you kind of can be on a good pathway. So
we're all human beings. Don't matter how many millions you've got in the life, you all lead the same way. So you best be kind to each other in between. That's all I'm saying.
That's what I took from it. That's epic, man.
Yeah, and I like that idea as well, because I feel like the narrative of good versus evil is such a strong narrative interwoven with our society, in any society as well, not even just the West. And I think to have something that steps outside of that and say, actually, this kind of good versus evil is a bit of a fallacy, because we all have the capacity for both, and we all, no one is either or.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I'll speak for myself. I mean, I deal with that struggle internally sometimes. Of like, you know, having that internal battle with yourself of like, you know, going down the light path or the dark path, or recognizing that I've gone astray and needing to course correct, and having that internal struggle. And I think that's what that song speaks to for a lot of people. It certainly did for me, is recognizing that there is that struggle that goes on between the light and the dark, the hope and the, you know, despair, and trying to navigate a pathway.
Ren talks about that, the light and the dark, in Higher End, didn't he? He says, what's that word he says? I can't remember what he said. There was some verse, and it was cool, man. I need to watch it again, actually. Yeah, they were one of the first videos I did, Higher End, and if you look at my videos, it's done very well.
Through that. Yeah,
and you can apply that to anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be a struggle. It can be a redemption story. It can be, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be overcoming pain.
The whole ending reminds me of jujitsu. Me and him are do jujitsu. When you start as a white belt, you try so hard to use your energy, and you're like, my clumsy feet, right? Yeah. And then when you just go with the flow, it's called flowing. All of a sudden, you're doing good moves. So when you say that, it connects in a lot of different. That was the first way it connected with me, along with the internal dialogue.
Yeah. Be like water, man. Bruce Lee.
Yeah. Yes, be like exactly. Water. With this album, you sitting on it so long, was there anything added last minute? I thought I heard you say something about a Money Game 3. Was that recorded before? Or is that like, are you adding a couple little seasoning?
This is the only one. So and this is an interesting story, because so I'd written Higher End, and this came out, and then so many people connected to it on such a level, and were throwing out compliments that were like, I felt way above my pay grade. So like I was like, okay, I've got this album now, but nothing for in my subjective opinion didn't touch Higher End lyrically. So I was like, I need there to be a song on this album that just hammers it in. So that's what and it was good. I like those challenges. So I went away and I wrote the third money game. And the reason I liked it being money game as well is because the second one went viral.
Few people I've heard about the money game. I haven't reacted to that yet. That's another one. Sorry, Becca. It's something like life is a penny and brighter than light shines, darker the shadow is cast. That's the one. Yes, I can remember thinking that's what a. I need to do some more clips on my high end. Now, obviously, I've got things really dialed in. I need to go back to it and do some more better clips. Because when I first did it, I was figuring stuff out. But now I'm more settled and I've got more of an idea. And things are coming better. The quality's better. And yeah. So I'm definitely going to go back to high end and see what else I've missed.
And the verse did so well that I knew that to choose that as a trilogy, the third one had to be better. Otherwise, it's like when I did the Tales. My personal favorite is Violet's Tale, and I think the songwriting stepped up a notch compared to the other two. Again, subjective, but I really wanted to do the same thing with Money Game. So I had this challenge of like High Rand, this big shadow, the big shadow of Money Game Part 2. So I was like, I'm gonna have to sit here until I've got something that's like that I'm really excited by until I want to put it out there. And I liked having that bar for myself. So I've written it and I'm really, really excited by it. The video, I'm flying back to England. I've managed to get about 3 weeks off clinic. The doctors agreed to it. So I'm flying back to England and it's the most ambitious video we've ever done as well. It's also the first time we've spent more than £1,000 on a video because my ethos is always the idea is more important than the budget. And if we can get the idea to be better, then we can bring the budget right down and we can just simplify. This is the first time that we've actually exceeded that because we needed to, and I'm a believer if you need to spend the money, then you should spend.
How much did they said to spend? Let me go back.
In my subjective opinion, didn't touch High Rand lyrically, so I was like, I need there to be a song on this album that just hammers it in. So that's what and it was good. I like those challenges. So I went away and I wrote the third money game, and the reason I liked it being money game as well is because the second one went viral and the verse did so well that I knew.
Just 3 money games, is there? I'm missing so much. Like, I've got so much to catch up on. Honestly, don't forget, I've only just started reacting, so I've got so much to catch up on. What you say? Yeah, you've got this, and there's nothing wrong in listening to Marvin. That's nothing at all. I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. I am not stopping listening to them. I'm going to watch some things where he's singing with other people. There's another one. Summit in the Booth. Someone said something. Fire Summit in the Booth. That's the one people are saying I need to listen to. Yeah, as well. Like, because that's more. That's just happened, hasn't it? So, yeah. Yeah, man.
To choose that as a trilogy, the third one had to be better. Otherwise, it's like when I did the Tales. My personal favorite is Violet's Tale, and I think the songwriting stepped up a notch compared to the other two. Again, subjective, but I really wanted to do the same thing with Money Game. So I had this challenge of like High Rand, this big shadow, the big shadow of Money Game Part 2. So I was like, I'm gonna have to sit here until I've got something that's like that I'm really excited by until I want to put it out there. And I liked having that bar for myself. So I've written it and I'm really, really excited by it. The video, I'm flying back to England. I've managed to get about 3 weeks off clinic. The doctors agreed to it. So I'm flying back to England and it's the most ambitious video we've ever done as well. It's also the first time we've spent more than £1,000 on a video because my ethos is always the idea is more important than the budget. And if we can get the idea to be better, then we can bring the budget right down and we can just simplify. This is the first.
Damien, but these old guys above, as far as I'm aware, the artists themselves, the well-established artist, as far as I'm aware. So when I went onto Reddit and I looked up this video and I looked about it, these artists are in US mind. So if you're in Europe or UK, you won't know them as much, but these are legit people he's talking to.
Time that we've actually exceeded that because we needed to, and I'm a believer if you need to spend the money, then you should spend the money. So it's very ambitious, and it's all going to be a live one take like the Tales and like High Rand. But I'm really excited about it. I'm not going to tell you anything more than it because I want it to be a total surprise when it comes out. But I'm just very excited.
Yeah.
and I want it to be a surprise. So that's awesome because understand
Remember, guys, follow. Give us a follow if you want to see more content.
what you're saying. Like, and for anyone out there, if you're an artist, right? Like I'm a rapper, but you do it all. But there's these moments, just as you as a rapper, you're like, I just want to rap. I just want I just want to get it out. And I feel like that's what you're saying. You're like, yo, I just want to rap for the love and just do this thing. And then in the height of this, high ren gets explosive, all these things, and people are clinging on to every word. And you're like, yo, I'm just rapping, homie. Like, I'm just having a good time. And now there's all this expectation for you to write the Da Vinci Code in a song. So I totally get it, bro. And that's epic. And
that was it. And people were, the funny thing was, when I was watching a lot of these reaction videos, is like people were finding poignancy in places where I didn't intend there to be poignancy. I thought that was quite interesting. And it's a bigger question about like the interpretive nature of art, where you can take your own meaning from things that maybe necessarily weren't intended. But it was fun, and I think that was what it was. There was so I did put so much thought into High Ren, and every single line was thought about, and there were lots of double meanings, and there were a lot of things related to me. Whereas within his hip hop, it was exactly that. Like I was just for the love of rap, man. It was for the love of word.
Every reactor, such as me, I've just reacted to the Jenny and Screech video, and at the very end, you'll see one of my clips. He starts singing, and he says, "The doctors just said that there's some babies," and I'm like, babies. Did he say babies? And I realised what he meant, Jenny and Screech, and that's what geared me. That's how I knew what he meant. But all the way through the video, I was so lost, I couldn't work it out.
It was for the love of like double entendres and yeah.
I'm sure he loves you as well, Nicky.
For me, really, it was like a project for me before anybody else. Yeah,
you gotta get it out. There's something about it because where I'm at in my career, I'm not chasing my career anymore. So when I get in the booth, it's just because I want to have some fun, or I'm like, oh my God, I have this idea. It's not, you know what I mean? That's just where I'm at. But so when you said it, I was like, okay, got you. Because there have been times where I'm like, yo, I need to come up with this type of record, or da-da-da. But there's right now in my life, I just do it for the love and enjoyment.
Yeah.
So
I love the fact that you said you wanted to do an album.
Posting, you guys pay attention to what is on the way. I saw something today, June 6th. Bro, he's got this. Yeah. So speaking of the hip hop rollout, you guys just be proactive as that happens. We really need to support Ren. But let's talk about, now you've started talking about, the next record, and I know people, we want to hear you singing this, that, and the other. I wanted to let you bring that question in because you had a question about that.
Yeah, we're basically just curious, like, what do you have on the plate? Do you already have a vision or a concept, kind of? Because you seem to be, well, not you seem to be, it's clear in the work that you do that you look at it from all angles, from your videos to the meaning of the songs. It's all very well thought out, and we're just curious if you've already started to lay out a vision or a blueprint for your next album.
Yeah, I mean, so Sam's here at the moment. We're actually filming 4 videos for the next album here already. So because we've done a lot of that, like Animal Flow was done.
Filled in 4 already.
They're just live sessions, so it's not going to be like break my back sort of stuff.
Absolutely
we're just going to find pretty locations, do a live session, and we're going to film it. But so these are songs again that I've been sitting on for a long time, but they didn't really make sense in the context of what I was doing. So I really wanted to make a body of work that was, because for me, I just always really wanted to make a timeless record that like paid homage to a lot of my absolute favorite musicians of all time. So sort of like the John Frusciante, the Jeff Buckleys of the world, Sting, Police, or old like.
He's got so much respect for the people, Jam, man. It's Sex unbelievable.
Pistols, from Hendrix to whoever. Like I just wanted to mash all of that together and make a record that was just very musical and that was very much like singing guitar based. And I know that there's a big part of my fan base who find me through my busking and singing covers, and people that are like, you're singing like that out on the street, why aren't you singing like that on your records? And I've had a lot of that, and I'm just sort of like, the time will come, but it's just not time yet. And that's what I'm going to do with this next record, is I'm just going to really hone in on that. And I quite liked doing it that way, like almost like chapters. It challenged me as well, because I'm someone who likes to just dabble.
Sounds like it's going to change it up then.
Almost quite nice. So
a big change coming.
My main focus is now, because the hip hop record, other than Money Game video, is pretty much done, is now putting in motion that. So by the time the hip hop album's there, things don't have to grind to a massive stop for like the next year while I'm working on this record. So I'm just tinkering it already. And then the overarching thing, I mentioned this before, is I'm just aiming towards a series on Netflix. That's my big dream. Yeah, that's my
series on
overarching
Netflix
goal is to get
anybody
successful
know
enough that when
about
they knock on
this?
that door, it's loud enough for them to take it seriously, because I just really want to make like a musical series basically that's quite dark, but because I just think it's
That's absolute. Now that was one of the most fascinating things from the Hawkins interview, and I want to ride into that. But coming off this, you know, you're working on the new record, so the new record's not done. You're just kind of, you have some stuff, and now you're kind of organizing.
Exactly, there's songs in various stages of completion, and I'm working on it, and then I'm working on making some beautiful videos as well. We're gonna go out to Banff, and I don't know if you know Banff. It's in Canada.
I do.
Beautiful, man. There's like big lakes, so we're gonna go there. I'm plonking this keyboard out by a lake, and we're gonna just make a beautiful live video out there near a big lake out there.
Sick,
so,
man. Sick.
That's epic. It was interesting because we were going to ask your influences,
everything
and you
you
went through all of that. So it's just epic to hear that, especially for someone like me who's a little wet behind the ears when it comes to all these different genres. Like, I actually got more aware of the police, which I know that's a crime, ironically, no pun intended, but because of one of your videos. So people are like, bro, how have you not heard this? But I grew up in an era, like, straight up, man, like, we're in the gangster rap era.
Guys, on 50 minutes, we're going to have a 5-minute break. I'll pause it. Everyone's going to go and get a cup of tea, coffee, a drink.
On MTV,
then we'll come back and watch the rest, okay?
Sometimes we're, let's
sit still for 2 hours
so
is
kind of encapsulated in a certain
long time for
kind
people.
of thing. And so now I'm just open. My heart's open. I'm like, yo, this is fire, and it's cool.
The thing is, bro, that ska scene, and that early like reggae, that was the gang.
Yeah, I learned things new today, Rebecca.
That ska scene, particularly like back to Brighton, where I'm from. If you go and dig into the history a little bit there of like the punk movement and the ska movement and the mods and the rockers and stuff like that, that was back in the day. That was the gang culture back then, before hip hop came out. It's really I recommend the film called Sting's actually in it from the Police. What's it called? Quadrophenia.
Okay.
It's an old school film. I recommend you check that out.
Okay.
It's a cool film, but it goes into like the mods and the rockers, sort of like gang rivalry in Brighton. But yeah, it's funny. It's a whole different world. But that music for me, I just love music that's usually rooted in like just sort of like the working class or the struggle or the that comes from the people, and that's usually the music that I've always connected to the most. It's why I love hip hop. Even though with the civil rights movement, it's a struggle other than my own, but I love it. You can feel the energy in it, you know, and that's why I really respect it. And it's the same.
All right, then, Rebecca. Thank you. Hope my mum's okay. Take care.
Things true with punk. The same things true with some of that really early rave stuff. And those are the genres I found myself when I listened to them. I'm like, I love that.
You had mentioned that you like studied counterculture, and I just thought that was a very interesting statement, because I was fortunate, you know, my dad, the first concert I ever went to was The Clash at Red Rocks, and my dad was into punk rock.
Yeah.
And then introduced me to hip hop. Then in the 90s, I was in the like underground rave scene where we had to go to 4 different map points and like abandoned buildings.
Yeah.
But I really feel like a lot of those have been co-opted now. So like the raves have become super corporate, you know, hip hop.
It happens to all of them. They all become commodified with time. And it's a shame, but it's because these companies, they see it's just when sort of like, I think it's maybe not even a case of like these big corporate companies are looming. It's because of the nature of greed in our society is that what started was the second summer of love within the rave scene. Then all of a sudden you get people realizing they can capitalize off this in quite a big way, and then it changes, because then what happened with the rave scene is you had the drug dealers coming in moving and then on the back of that there were a lot of gang murder hitting the UK. Anyway, I'm not sure how it was over in America, but there were a lot of there's a good film called Rise of the Foot Soldier that goes into this a little bit more.
I've seen that.
The gangs kind of move in a little bit more, and then a lot of the money comes in, and then all of a sudden it becomes commodified and commercialized. So the next thing you know, you're paying 15 quid at a door to get into a club, and it's really more about it's less about we're making a movement for the people to escape Thatcherism, to escape a depression, and now what we're doing is it's just about getting off your tits on drugs, spending a lot of money, and maybe pulling a girl, and then it's really less about the people. And I think it's a shame when that happens. I think the same thing happened, like punk became a logo. Do you get me? It's like when it was a counterculture at the time, and now it's a Mohawk logo, and it's a safety pin logo, and it's commodified, and it's turned into something. When if you heard John Lydon, Johnny Rotten, one of the originators of punk, talking about it, he was like, it was never about an image. It was never about this is just what I like to wear. It was never about this is what punk is. It was, and he's always quite upset about like when people say, no, this is what punk is. He's just like, and yeah, it's a shame. I think we try to condense things into a neatly packaged to understand logo, and the same with hip hop. I think hip hop started with like the KRS Ones and the people who are very counterculture and pushing the civil rights movement, and then it weirdly oppositely became about how much money have I got, how many bitches can I get, and I'm guilty of doing little flexy things in hip hop, but like it's that was the main narrative of hip hop, when actually before that it was like pushing for a level playing field for people, which was a beautiful thing to be pushing for. And it's a shame that that's not the main narrative within hip hop. You get me?
Yeah, like, so one of my favorite groups or the favorite albums is Let's Get Free by Dead Prez. It was just ahead of its time, but it's like you had Dead Prez, Poor Righteous Teachers, Wu-Tang Clan, KRS-One. And even if they do flex, like let's say Wu-Tang Clan, because they were good at having that Gambino gangster balance, but also putting like like let's say some pro-black or like uplifting esteem for black culture in their music. And it is interesting because corporate people, or corporatized, the corporate nature is to repackage stuff and sell it to people. So it's like, oh, money, drugs, sex, violence, sales. Let me package this pretty and sell this part, and then it just keeps growing. People start, chasing the money, and you do see that, and that's why I enjoy underground stuff. A lot of times people are like, oh, you sound old school, but I'm like, in my opinion, I'm just underground. Like, I get it, so I'll take it on the nose, But yeah, it is interesting how that happens.
I think what I noticed is that, there is, in my opinion, there seems to be a void in that counterculture, and you're proof positive that people are ready for that next wave, because your music is not simple. It has complicated themes and messages, and I personally think it's wonderful to be, tuned in to what you're doing, because in the comments it's creating all these conversations, and like, the Money Game reaction we did was like a 30 or 40 minute reaction to a 3-minute song. Because you had so much packed into it.
Remember to subscribe, guys.
That we're ready for that next wave of counterculture, and that the people are ready.
And what's interesting about the genre that is kind of like leading the way within my music is it's within most countercultures you have something new, right? And I'm here playing like old school, like medieval riffs on the guitar, which is quite interesting. It's like, also combined with hip hop and storytelling, and probably more formulas that are actually more truer to stuff you would have heard in the like 19th century, because it's not like verse, chorus, bridge, and song. It's like it's just a story that progresses, and it goes wherever it needs to tell that story. And that was a lot truer of the older stuff. When you go real far back, that was a lot truer of the formats of those songs. They were just like evolving themes, and that really excites me. So it's interesting that yeah. I mean, I don't think it's quite settled into what it is yet, but I was just, like I said, I was just really, really thirsty for something that was creating a little bit of counterculture at a time that I feel like was desperately needed. Because I think, and I was just so confused as to why it wasn't here, or why it hadn't been here for a long time, because there's so many things to like be a little bit confused about in the world, and a little bit opposed to in the world. So yeah, it feels nice to contribute even in a little way towards that.
Yep, you're leading the wave. You're leading the charge.
Hence the term bardcore, correct?
Bardcore, yeah, man.
Okay, so I keep seeing people say that, and I looked up the definition, and as he broke it down, he's like, yeah, what I'm playing is like middle of, I'm like, I got it now. It just, the light just shined in my head right then and there. Now, we were talking about your new album, and I wanted to go back to that just for a second, or what you mentioned, busking.
Yeah.
Are you still doing stuff with the Big Push?
So I mean, we've all gone to different, like Goran, who was the other. We all kind of swap instruments, apart from Glenn, who stays on the drums because he's a beast on them. We've all kind of like spread to different parts of the world. Like, so Goran decided he wanted to go off traveling. Glenn went and got married. He's living in Thailand at the moment doing software coding. Really good at that, and remains focusing on his stuff. It kind of just got to a point even before we knew that I was moving away, because I was always going to come to Canada. It just kind of got to a point where at the time it felt like not all our hearts were 100% in it for whatever reason. We were still like fucking love each other to bits, love playing together for bits, but I think because for all of us there were different pulls in different directions. At the time it just made sense to go, let's just park this for now. Who knows what the future will hold? Like I love those boys and playing the shows with them. It's nice to be in a rock and roll band. It's fun. Like it's some of the funnest performances I've ever had.
I hope they get back together at some point though. Is there anything about it going back together?
Yeah, maybe it'll be something we pick up. We're still stay in touch, and none of us fallen out. It was never like a fuck you, we're gonna go our separate ways, we hate each other. It was never anything like that. It was just quite a mutual thing.
Totally understandable. Life happens. Me and him actually started rapping together in 1998, and our thing split, but here we are together again. You know, and I was just curious about that, because you guys definitely left your imprint in the game from what you have done and presented to the world on the internet.
Yeah, I think what was quite exciting is we kind of on YouTube now we became there's a handful of us, but I became some of the biggest busking presence on YouTube, as well as Tash Sultana back in the days, as well as Brothers Moving. There's an amazing German group called Anime Cantrite. It's not so much busking, but this guy's got an incredible voice. But yeah, it felt good to be like, because that was kind of our thing. We made our mate just playing out on the streets, and we had people traveling all over the world because they found videos of us playing on the streets, and that was a really cool thing, man.
Yeah.
Well,
I've seen one video of that. Yeah,
so good. Like I always trip out because in America, I'm used to seeing these rap concerts, people rapping over their lyrics and mumble rap, and I'm like, bruh, y'all are out there just on some amps, some speakers, just getting it, no auto tune. I'm like, bruh, this is bananas.
Yeah.
That leads into my next question. You've worked with the Big Push, Chinchilla. That's how you say her name, right? I'm saying it right. Okay.
Like the animal.
Sam Tompkins. How are these people your friends? I was curious.
Yeah.
How do you do these collaborations?
Yeah. So these were people who were first and foremost friends before anything else. So like Sam was a guy. I met Sam when he was 16. I was a bit older than him.
That's interesting.
I was heading home from I was playing out on the street, and I saw him, and it was like his first day. He was singing out on the street, and he was just like really nervous. And I went up to him and I was like, bro, I want to plug my amp in and I want you to sing into this mic, and I bet you anything this whole street's gonna people are going to stop, because I heard his voice, but he wasn't projected. So I was like, I let him use the amp, and then sure enough, the whole street of people just stopped and watched, because he's got, as you've heard, he's got an incredible control over his voice. And then we just became really good mates after that, and we wrote Blind Eye together. We wrote a few tunes together. We went busking a fair bit together back in 2017, I think it was, or 2018. And yeah, we just built up.
He helped him out as well, then.
Cool. Yeah. It was a bit of that was almost like the starting point of me building my career, at least, and people starting to pay attention. So, and then Daisy Chinchilla, she was just part of my management group. I saw her play live, and I was like, oh, this girl's wicked. And again, we just became friends, and then decided to make those two tunes together. It's weird. Daisy's almost like my female counterpart. It's really like because she does the hip hop, and the way she approaches her videos and stuff, she just thinks about it all in a very eerily similar way to I do. So when we get in the studio together, it's just really easy. Yeah, I think she's wicked, man. Really cool.
That's awesome.
I've just done a reaction to her dropping tomorrow,
forward,
and she's cool, man.
How do you collaborate with people? How do you choose to do collaborations in America? Right, we have this hip hop culture, and it's one of these things where it's like, yo, how much you charge for a feature, and it's like you know what I'm saying? It's like pay to play.
I've had people hit me up and say that, yeah, and when they say that, I don't reply, because I'm just like. For me, yeah, if I can make an exciting track, and I've had people hit me up who have got like 1 million followers or more on Instagram and be like, oh, let's do a tune. And then if I listen to the song and I don't feel it, that's it. Like for me, it's like I would much sooner collaborate with somebody with like 100 followers, like a Dirk Miller, for example. I would much rather collaborate with somebody that I'm feeling over somebody that would bring me a lot of benefit, because it's like, but with a tune that I'm just a little bit like meh about. Because for me, it's not really about that. I think the song transcends.
That just proves what it's like. I'd rather collab with someone with 100 followers. So I'd rather interview me than, say, a well-known reactor if I give him more reason to. It's not about the fame. It's about if he feels you.
And lasts longer. And I believe, I'm firm believer that if it's a great song, people will come back to it in a few years' time anyway. So I'd rather collaborate with people that really excite me. Yeah.
That's all. And honestly,
we assume that, but I mean, it's beautiful to hear it, because in this world, you see all these features where you have these artists that are just mashed together.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? It's like, you know that they did it just because it's like, if we put this big artist and this big artist together, maybe we'll have a hit. And it doesn't seem like there was any thought or real connection to the reasoning behind it.
Yeah, and there's some cool things that have come on my plate at the moment from a few. I had Cy from The Verve hit me up about a potential collaboration. So while I'm well enough, I'll probably look into doing that. I had a guy from The Prodigy hit me up. And, you know, these are groups that I was massively influenced by. So there are some people where it would just be an absolute honor to be on a track, like, you know, and in the American game, there'll be some huge people like Kendricks and people like that I'd just like to get on a Kendrick track, or even from my teenage me to like have like an Eminem collaboration, or even people who are coming up now, like
Eminem and Ren. I'm just saying, Eminem and Ren. What do you think? Could it happen?
Past coming up like NF and stuff like that. I would love to collaborate with, because I think it would be really cool. So it's not like a size snobbery thing either. Like I'll be absolutely honored to get on those things. It's just more like, which artists do I think I would be really, really excited, and that could literally be someone who's not even got a social media presence at all if they're really sick.
That's crazy. I was wondering if NF was on your radar, and I was like, man, he has to be, but it's kind of.
Can anyone sing here? Because you got a chance. Just saying, if you can sing, tell me now.
Kind of cool that some of those.
Quite recently I was put on. It was after I got put onto him after the Clouds mixtape, and I heard Clouds. It was that video as well. I was like, this video is fucking.
No, mental. Can you imagine Ren and Eminem? Like, can you imagine? My God, mate, that would be like everyone's dream come true.
Crazy, bro. Just the cinematography in it, and then I went back after that and I watched a lot more of it, and I really liked his videos are just as good as the songs in a way, and I really like that because I'm a massive just fan of directing and creating videos. So that's kind of what sold it for me, and then it's very like epic or orchestral style. He's really found his sound, which is what I like. What I look for in an artist, someone who's got like a signature thing, and I feel like he's really got his signature thing, which is why he's smashing it at the moment. And yeah, no, I rate him a lot.
Just a warning, guys. In the next 5 minutes, we're having a 10-minute break. I'll leave the video running. I'll have my headsets on so I can hear it, so I'm not missing anything. But I'm going to make a coffee. Going to come back. I'll leave it running for everyone so everyone can watch it. Because I know you all got lives and doing stuff and probably getting your kids ready for bed and stuff. So I'll leave it running. So in 5 minutes, we're having a quick toilet break and we're going to watch the rest of this. It's an hour and 55 minutes. A long time.
Awesome. Now I wanted to ask you, do you want to go on tour?
Yeah, at some point. I don't think I'm ever going to be in a position with my health where I'm going to be able to do like a 60-day tour like some of these people do. Because even the healthiest of people, like I've seen, they come back of those shows like beaten, broken men. Like literally, chatting to Sam when he came off his tour, and that wasn't even like a 60-dayer, and he just came back and he was like, I am dying, bro. And like, so I think what I would do, I love playing live, I really do. So it's most likely going to be just choice. I'm just going to select places. You know, I'd love to do it all over the world, but just choose the places carefully, put a lot into those shows, and and just kind of do it more like that.
Good. I was just curious because with your health, also, you mentioning the Netflix.
If he does a show in the UK, which is from the UK, is about 7 hours away from my house. So, Ben, if you're listening, ever listen to this video, I want a ticket.
Kind of thing, and I just know how touring is. I've been on a few tours myself, more like 40-day.
A mental wants a ticket.
So like, that's like a 2-month run, and like as I've gotten older, I don't tour anymore. I'm like, nah, I got to be here for my daughter. She's 4 years old. I'm not going, like, that's nothing. I'm not going to be a Facebook or a FaceTime dad. It's just not happening. But I understand touring, and that's why I specifically deliberately asked you that question, because you're involved in so many other things as well. And touring, I've seen touring affect people in different ways. So I was just curious your take on that.
Yeah.
But with that, this has been a question that's been looming for me, because we call you the last genre bender. You're out here bending wind, fire, earth. How the hell does Ren, because I saw you ask this, but I don't want to know what the fans want right now. I want to know how are you going to set up your set list? Because, for example, when I do concerts, I have it like a roller coaster. There's certain parts. I know there needs to be explosions, let's say, in certain parts. With you doing so much music, do you interweave all the music and just make this chaotic show? What does a tour set look like from the one and only Ren, the one-take GOAT?
Okay, so you walk into the venue, right?
Right, listen, guys, it's giving us a clue.
Dark. It's dark inside. But this is how I would picture it. Is you just have silence, or you'd have everything. You'd have the stage lights on, everything. Everyone goes in, mingles a little bit. I did also have a thought of handing out these animal masks with the ticket on the door as you come in. It'd be quite cool just to see a lot of the crowd in these. I think it would be very cool. But then stage lights go out. It's just silence. And then I'd kind of want to just get like a light, and then I'd want to have just
animal mass. Can you imagine? Just full of animals everywhere.
And I'd want to have like microphones on the stage to pick it up, just being wheeled out in a wheelchair, and then just have like the spotlight on, and then within that hospital gown, and then just start it, and do it as I would have done it in the video, and have all the so it would be quite theatrical, I think. And what I would love to do, I don't want to give too much away because I've got a lot of ideas and how I want it to come across, but I'd want it to be, I mean, a great example of this, but mine would be a lot more toned down, is Michael Jackson made his performances very, very theatrical, and there was so much with the set, there was so much going on, and I would like to do a similar sort of thing, but in my own way, and that feels a lot more kind of integrative and raw. And I've got a lot of ideas for it, how the set would build, and if we would use backing tracks, etc. But even things like, if I was to do something like the Tales of Jenny and Screech, I want to take you there. I want a hospital bed there.
Right, guys, gonna have that 10-minute break. I'll be back in 10 minutes.
You really can get absorbed into. That's kind of the way that I see it going down. And it's just again, it's like how I approach my music videos. It's just like clever, because it doesn't have to be a huge fucking stage production traveling with me with all these moving parts. As long as it's done carefully with choice things that really emphasize things, and that's just careful with the lighting, careful with the sound design, careful with the outfit choices, I think that we can do something really special. So that's the way that I see it. And then I imagine the set evolving so that like the bangers with the backing tracks where people are jumping around and going mad, they're probably saved till right to the end, and then you reel it all in with something very poignant right at the end to put a little bow on it. But yeah, I would try and ride the energy like you do with a song, try and understand where the energy is going to go, and I'd probably do a run of a much smaller shows first to see what's working and what's not, and then take that to a bigger setting. Because the big question for me is, if I ever end up on like a Glastonbury stage or a big festival stage, how do I translate this to work in front of fucking 50,000 people,
Yeah. Now this is epic. So, cause you're talking about Broadway musical right here, man. Like, this is fire, bro. And I could see that, and that's why, cause like my mind was like, so like when I'm building like a set list, right? It depends. Like, am I opening? Am I headlining? Obviously, you'd be a headliner, and with the headliner, there's more like intricate details. And where's the explosion? Like, my mind was like, where is High Ren? Is it in the middle? Is it in the chair? The light comes down. Is it at the end because it's the most popular song? Everyone does their most popular song last. I'm like, how does Ren think? How would he do this? So I guess I just got to go to a show. Yeah, I don't want you to spill the beans.
Because I want a lot of things that we achieve with a film to translate and have some new ideas so people are surprised while they're watching about things. Because my favorite moments working with Sam are moments like in Screech Yourself, where you shoot the camera with a guitar, or just these little for me when you do these like break the third wall things that people don't expect, or even just pulling off the microphone in Money Game, those little moments, it's like, how do we create that same sensation within a show where people come away from it like, what the fuck did I just experience? So it'll be a case of going to the drawing board and really thinking about those things quite heavily. But I really want it to. The other thing that I kind of really want to do as well with it is I want to take it to venues that aren't traditional venues. Like I want to get some spooky looking warehouse, or I want to get some like. Well, for the tail, you might have seen it, but on a video on YouTube, there's a live 360 version of the Tail of Jenny and Screech. We literally built a stage. We got some driftwood. We built a stage in the car park, and we got people in hostage masks to go and meet people at a secret location. We said, go to train station, you'll be met by people in hostage masks, and you'll be led to the secret location. And we put on a show. We didn't get permission. The police showed up at the end, but they were actually, because they knew who I was at the time, they were like, oh, fucking hell, it's Ren doing this thing again. They're just like, right, we will allow it, but we're just here to make sure that nobody dies. And then they left. The Brighton police were actually quite cool like that. And then, so they let us get on with it. But things like that feels a lot more counterculture. It feels a lot more like a movement for me when you're putting on a free show. You know, we made a bit of money. We sold some merch at the end out of the back of the car, but it was just like, that excites me a lot more than having a ticketed venue and a big show. Like those things where you can feel the energy. Like, because in that you had 1,000 people in the car park and you could feel the energy in it, because it was like you had people who've been climbing up on scaffolding to get a better look. People who've been climbing up on these big walls, and it was just like you felt almost like not danger, but close to the danger in the air. Like it was just like this feeling of like excitement, like something's going to happen. And I'd love to be able to try and create that feeling as much as possible within what I'm doing with the live stuff moving forward. I think it's exciting.
Yeah, that's very exciting.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, the part that you said about just going out with no permits, I mean, that's what the old rave days were about.
Definitely.
That was what made it so beautiful. That's a genuine movement. It's
cheers,
like
everyone.
Gathering for this reason. We would expect nothing less from you, so it's brilliant to hear what your ideas are.
Doncaster Rovers
Cup. I hope that we can take part of it one day to experience the shows.
Get involved.
Oh yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. So I wanted to dive into this with you. Actually, this is one you brought up, the social media question.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because you have a number of songs that talk about social media and some of the negative impacts, like in Dominoes. But then at the same time, we were just discussing this earlier. Like I literally learned how to I have no experience in audio engineering, video prior to 3 years ago when we started this podcast. And I literally had never picked up a camera or plugged in a audio interface. I just watched YouTube videos, and here we are, 3 years later doing this. Mm-hmm. And I just thought it was really, impactful, because when I heard you, my dad's friend plays classical guitar. Right. So when I heard you, I was like, oh yeah, he must be classically trained. It sounds like, this guy that I know that's like classically trained Spanish guitarist. And then I heard that you learned everything from YouTube videos. So I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that interplay, that dynamic of like.
Yes. So for me, it's part of a bigger thing that I've been thinking about a lot. The internet and social media and everything is a tool, right? Its purpose is whatever we want it to be. We have a tool to simplify it. We have a tool that transmits information from a place to a place very, very quickly and very, very efficiently. And it also connects us as people. It essentially can create the closest to like a hive mind to we've got to solving problems or to learning or to education. Or if you're having an argument with somebody and you want to solve it, you just go on Google and there you go.
Well, this is right. 5 days ago, I started this channel. In 5 days, I've got 17,000 views. Now, that's a lot for someone starting new. That's how quick you can start to get views. So he's right in what he's saying. You do the right things and you start to show love in certain areas, people will support your channel.
You've learned something, you've got your answer. I think the issue is I see it, right? Because it's not so much that...
Yeah, Gail. Yeah, I agree.
Social media is bad. It's that they're being designed with profit as the overarching goal from these companies. So attention mining means that they're not really being designed for the greater good of humanity. So a lot of the functionality in it is just to keep you on it as much as possible, which then becomes less of a tool and more of a drug. And then also because they've smartly figured out what things really like spike our dopamine reward system or serotonin reward system and things like that. Validation is a big one. Everyone likes to feel validated. Social acceptance is a big one, and that there are things that go back to tribalism as to why that's such a big thing that hooks us in. So there are a lot of really clever things that are being played off to mine our attentions, but that really comes down to the fact that attention means money in the world of social media. And I think because I've been delving into this a lot more recently. Like, I think there's fundamental differences between different systems, and within the capitalist system, there's a lot that's good, but there's also a lot that's very detrimental. And I think when we design things and technology where social good isn't the most important thing, but money is the most important thing, that's when we start to suffer. I think these social media things could be amazing and really good if they were designed in a way where we go, actually, the most important thing is the benefit to humanity, not the benefit to our company and our profit margins, which is where more of like, it's funny because this, I don't know why, but like, when you say things like capitalism, communism, and socialism, it's like a buzzword that gets everyone like, fucking hell, the world's on fire, socialism, communism, fuck you. And people start shouting. Funnily enough, we've never actually ever had a functional example of communism ever. And when people point to socialism, most socialist systems are actually capitalist, just with socialist elements. Like, I think the closest thing to socialism is Cuba, but even in China, that's like 90. Like, they're still in the free market, they're still competing.
Yeah, true, very true.
There's elements of communism that I don't think communism possibly doesn't work on a grand scale, but there's elements of it which is all the decisions that we're making are actually for the benefit of the collective. They're not for the benefit of small groups. I think those should be applied to a very select few areas of society. Health is where it should be, because I think a competitive market in health is sometimes quite a detrimental thing.
I 100% agree with that, to be fair.
And people peddling medicines that people don't need, or people patenting things and medicines becoming expensive. And also as well, technology, because AI, man, if we're competing in loads of different pockets to create the most efficient AI, we're at the risk of creating something that's going to be quite dangerous for us. So like having a more like collaborative, how do we design this for the greater good of society, humanity, I think is pretty fundamental.
Remember guys, I'll be doing this whenever I'm free, so we'll be watching Ren videos, other videos as well. So if you're enjoying it, remember to subscribe. A Ren reaction, new video is coming out tomorrow morning at 9 AM. So if you haven't subscribed already, if you could please, that'd be brilliant. Thank you.
In that area as well, same with like social media.
Yeah, it's interesting you said that too, because it's like you can see the good in each, because you know, I've been going back and forth with these concepts as you were saying, and to me it's just like every answer for me as of recent is like this balance we need to find, because like capitalism births so much innovation that we need, 100%. but at the same time sprinkling in, like, because I would absolutely agree with the healthcare system all over the world. There's like pros and cons to each one, and in America specifically, it's bananas. But yeah, man, that's deep, and it is funny because these are topics that have been hyperbolic online, where it's unfortunately, like, the people who believe in capitalism are like, well, communism never works at any capacity. And I've went back and forth having these arguments, and I
don't know what's happened here, guys. Got no idea. Give me a second to try and sort it out.
arguments, and I've more so gotten a little more moderate in the last year, where I'm like, hey, hold on, like these social programs helped his mom get her nursing degree and get them out of the hood, and I'm like, how can that be bad, you know? But at the same time, there are people who take advantage of stuff, so I understand the arguments. But yeah, man, it's cool that you think that way.
Well, I just think that we should be able to have neutral conversations where if you say something like that, people don't go "fuck you" and don't start shouting, because that's what happens when you say these trigger words. And from all sides of the spectrum, because they'll be anti-capitalist, they'll be anti-communist. But my theory, my stance on the matter is we should be quite fluid in like what best serves humanity to move forward in such a way where our future's safe. Like on this planet, on this weird spin rock, like how can we make decisions that best serve us? And also like with things like social media, like they can be such a beautiful thing that connect people. Like even that, we're sitting in different parts of the world having a lovely conversation, and social media can be such an amazing thing. And I built my career because of the internet. You know, there's amazing things that we can do with it. So and a lot of that comes from capitalist innovation. You know what I mean? Like maybe without capitalist innovation, who knows? It's difficult to say because there's not a parallel universe where it wasn't birthed out of that. But so I think there's a cool quote from Star Wars that's like, "Don't kill what you hate, take what you love." And I thought that was really cool. It's like what's really working right now, and what's maybe a little bit more detrimental, and how can we shift these models to incorporate just good elements of everything to create something that benefits people on the whole.
Yeah, and that doesn't happen when you shut down conversations and immediately become triggered, say, okay, you said communism, therefore we can no longer continue dialogue. Like we have to have the difficult conversation in order to find a solution, is I think really what it comes down to.
Because what people do is they tie these things are just simple social models, but they tie them to ideologies of like, they'll tie communism to like Stalinism, or they'll tie it to Maoism, or sort of quite totalitarianist regimes that weren't actually true to the philosophy of it in the first place anyway. So when people go, oh, I never, and they were never actually communist models anyway. They were weird examples of other sort of like some socialist principles with some capitalist principles, whatever. But like that's why people always will just they won't really take the step back and learn about what this means. And I'm not saying this being pro-communism, because I'm actually just pro-fluidity and what best serves humankind. And it's a really confusing topic because everybody is different. So how do you accommodate everyone's needs? It's a very difficult question to answer, and one that I don't have the answer for. But there are things that seem obvious to me, like the most obvious current one is the AI space. I think that people should be working together, because I think that this technology is something that is going to bring us into the next phase
AI
of
space, you want to work
because
it
of what
together.
it offers for problem solving, for space exploration, for health. Like AI, smart computers that can work stuff out, even if they're not conscious, but the problem solving capacity of them, if we were to work together with the overarching principle of like, let's do something amazing for humanity, we're going to invent something really cool. But right now the conversation is, how can we be the first one to do this? Let's rush this out. Me, money. So it's I don't know, that's where I have a little bit of a problem with it there.
Yeah, I was going to say that was kind of one of our questions. We talked about being, in jiu-jitsu. I know on Knox Hill you mentioned Lex Friedman. We both listen to Lex Friedman. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he talks about AI and, all of the things that are associated with it. And there's on one hand this beautiful like opportunity, but then on the other hand, there's, unintended consequences. Like, I'm curious, do you think that AI poses a threat to creatives?
This is actually, I've got a funny stance on it, maybe an unexpected one. I think it's exciting. I think the idea of being able to be augmented by our own inventions to the point where we can become more ambitious with our because a lot the main narrative that I've seen is, oh my God, humans are going to be replaced. Like there's going to be a software that
we're never going to be replaced.
Make me a Dre beat, and you press a button.
How we're all going to work is different. When our kids are going to work, it's going to be a different way of thinking. Yeah, I definitely think that. I think the model of being paid every month, same as when my dad was being paid, it was in money in the hand, cash in the hand. When I got older, it started to be on a pay slip, like kind of thing in your bank. like NAD is stopping people from doing interactions through money. It's all online, keeping the control of everything. So it's going to change. He's right in what he's saying.
Made me a Dre beat that's also got a Jimi Hendrix solo in the middle of it, and you press a button and it's perfect. And you're like, damn, that's a fire beat. Cool. Like, for me, that's exciting, man, because it only becomes a threat if we don't evolve with the technology. So it's like, then that's solved a big time consuming thing. And it's like, how do we then take this? How do I do something that a machine doesn't do and take this to a different place? Or with all these tools, create something brand new that hasn't been invented yet? Because it's like, you know, like when the car came about, you probably had a bunch of horse and carriage riders that were like, oh shit, our jobs, they started worrying. And or coal miners when the industrial revolution. And so I feel like it's the same thing with artists at the moment. I might even get a little bit of negativity towards me for saying this, but I think there'll be a lot of people that like feel threatened now, because there will be software that can do their job essentially for much cheaper and much faster. But for me, I think it's only a threat if you're not looking forward into how we can use these tools to our advantage and be innovative with them. I'm actually very pro technology. I'm just anti the abuse of technology, which I think happens a lot in a competitive market.
Yeah. So one of the things, it's interesting because as I'm getting older, I'm like, okay, is technology a part of the human evolution? And I've always believed that
of course it is, 100%.
The original technology, right?
No way.
We connect to our planet.
You're going to get away with that.
Program. So we're the original technology. Now we create AI, and it's just like what you're saying. I have a similar belief. It's like, do we utilize AI as our evolution to unlock the potential we have not unlocked yet with our minds? Because it's pretty much proven there's so much of our mind that should be able to be used. Or are we supposed to plug into nature, But do we use it to unlock, or do we use it to take over? And the take over, if AI takes over, that's the dangerous part. And when you are dealing, and that's the problem, right? So with capitalism, I personally, I'm a pretty much fan of it. But what I realize is it gets to this certain point, then it's not really capitalism. I'm like, bro, this ain't a free market when you're buying all this stuff and you're doing all this shady stuff behind the scenes to make sure your company's on top. You're like, bro, that's not really the free market. So it's interesing. And I'm just like,
that's the problem. And that's when it becomes more complex, because I think the idea of having this free market where individuals can thrive, they can grow, they can. I think at its core principle, it can be a nice idea. But then when you have very established companies that are making it very difficult, or buying out competition, or coming back to sort of like one of my favorite early examples, which was the Tesla example, which I spoke about in a song, where you have like the best idea being opposed because it poses a threat to a money-making company, right?
Yeah.
So like, so we're going to oppose this. We're going to.
Biggest thing is oil. So people who own oil will now buy out any other energy source, so they still have the say and stuff. That's what'll happen.
Show that the AC current system is actually dangerous and terrible by putting all these crazy like public spectacles of how it's going to electrocute people to death and stuff. It's just like it's almost like a warred version of that. Like, I don't know if there are examples of big gas car companies buying out electric car warehouses and production centers because they see the threat, and they're like, actually no, when to be honest, like, we should probably be moving towards a more self-sufficient electric car model that have got computer inside them that don't crash. There's a lot of reasons to be moving towards these models, but we have an established giant there that's pushing against it. And that's, for me, that's when a capitalist model almost fights progress, and it fights evolution of our own invention, because they don't want to lose out money. So we're actually putting the brakes down a little bit on progress. But I also think that you can't completely kill progress, which is why we are now operating under an AC system. And what, like, the good ideas will always rise to the top, but when there's a little bit of resistance, it's almost, for me, it's counterintuitive, and it's a bit stupid of humans. And that's when these models, I think, the cracks start to show, you know?
Yeah. And for me, it always goes back to the balance thing too, because it's like, where is that pinpoint so we can make it work you know, because everyone gets into these polarizing arguments, and you're like, bruh, because they'll be like, well, electric cars don't work in extreme heat or cold. And it's like, okay, well, then we could have a little fossil fuel here. Like, let's figure it out, guys. But everyone's just like,
that's my thing is problem, right? There's a problem here. How do we come up with a solution rather than being like, just throw out the baby with the baby with the bathwater, and like, let's go back to the old thing then, because I think it's a balance. And I'm also like, as I've gotten older as well, I've become, when I was younger, I was very much just like, let's rage against the system, tear everything down, build everything from the start. I'm actually now more of a believer of actually, like I was saying, like, take what you love. There's lots of elements of like conservatism that I agree with as well. That if something works, then why don't we just keep all the stuff that works as well? And that's why I try to find like mediation between left and right, because I think there's really good sentiments and feelings in, because really purified, when you have like liberal and Democrat and there's all these like ideologies and identifying with left and right, really purified, what they mean is the left's goal or the left's role is to push against the powers that be when they start abusing their power. The right's role is to conserve and maintain order within these power structures that are really working. And that's really it simplified. It's just that we've made it very fucking complicated because we're very complicated people. And the thing that I would like to try and do, if my main purpose on this life, it would be to try and create just some kind of lane of mediation between the two, or just some sort of like neutral narrative, because it's so important it happens.
Very true.
That's all
beautiful.
That's all we have left. If we don't reach that, it's going to be we saw glimpses of how dark we can get in humanity because of 2020. And what you just said is that's the answer. Like that's all we have left. And that, I'm not going to get into that right now, but yeah, man, I had my moment in 2020. I'm an artist, right? I literally live. So my daytime hustle.
Right, guys, we're going to have to leave it there in a minute. I will link the video, so if you want to watch the remaining, it's about 20 minutes left. I have got to go.
Your taxes kind of funny, then you don't have access.
If you want the video link, say in chat and I'll send it in.
Kind of come out of that, and
so you can watch we are
more in this middle
11 minute and 14 in. And if you want the link, say I'll send it.
That was dead on.
If you desperately want me to stop, I will stop.
With the time we're at right now,
just
let
me know.
This conversation was important for me that I really wanted to have with you, and I was drawn in. But I wanted to ask you the question, because when you started talking with Hawkins about your health, it resonated really deeply with me. And the question is, because the stem cells, it just started firing off light bulbs in my head. I'm like, oh my God. So have you ever had the placental or the umbilical cord stem cells? Have you had that treatment yet?
No, so mine was mesenchymal, which means autologous, which means from the cell. So mine was from my fat cell. So they gave me liposuction, essentially. Separated. It's quite a barbaric procedure, but they separate the fat from your. Because I was really underweight when I went in there, because this was like me and my illness. I was probably about 3 stone lighter than I am now, which is really underweight. I don't know if you guys measure things in stone, but it's I'm not exactly sure how much that is in kilos, but it's a lot lighter. Basically, I was skinny, and so they had to take it out of my back wherever they could find it, and they. I don't know what they do to them, but they kind of chemically behave in a certain way and try and make
Squirrel. I think it's
homeostasis and repair a lot of the damage.
What for?
Okay, so the reason I ask you this question, I'm going to give you a little bit of a testimony, and I just want to talk about this. So when you said they worked, it gave me goosebumps. And because in America, that's the type of stem cells they do. They typically get it from your bone marrow, stuff like that. But because of Joe Rogan, Lex Friedman, I found out about the Stem Cell Institute in Panama. Now, this is my testimony. My daughter, at 1.5 years old, just developed juvenile idiopathic arthritis, which is autoimmune. And I think I have ideas of why, but she was a perfectly healthy child. We never fed her sugar, anything. We're like a pretty healthy family. She just develops it. Fast forward. And this is where I connected with you. Bro, we did homeopathy. We did holistic doctors. And so originally we got her on this diet through a homeopath, and her arthritis went away. It was in remission for 1 year, about 1.5 years. However, after the Rona came onto the scene, my daughter and wife got it at the same time. and it came back, and we could not get rid of it through diet. We went through other specialists, blood specialists. Now, their only option through allopathic medicine was methotrexate, which is typically used on kids with cancer. And I was just, my mom passed of cancer. I'm not putting my child through those things. Long story short, my man, my wife was in a Facebook group, and this older man said he went to Panama for stem cells for arthritis. And I was like, interesting. And then, you know, I heard of it through Rogan, but I thought it was for rotator cuff tears and, oh, my neck hurts. Bro, we took my daughter, to Panama last July to get stem cells. In 4 months, I don't know what I can say on YouTube because YouTube is weird about this. I found that out the hard way. But let's just say this. My daughter doesn't have arthritis. I don't know how it happened, but she doesn't have it. So I'm telling you this because of the FDA and certain things going on in our first world countries. Yes, we know this is experimental.
And we know it's meant to protect us, the reason they have these certain things in place. But ultimately, we wouldn't, we had to have this conversation because we want you to be your best version. If there's anything out there that could potentially help,
Yeah.
When you said that the bone marrow stem cells worked, we were out there in Panama at the Stem Cell Institute, and they're treating autism, MS, arthritis, and I met this brother actually from the UK who was paralyzed. He wrapped his car around a tree, and when I was at the pool, I saw him move his leg, and I'm like, that's just my testimony. We can talk more off camera. YouTube's really weird about this stuff, and that's very unfortunate. But I don't know the treatments you're going through. But it sounds like they're
must
helping.
be hard, man.
But I just want to tell you from someone who's been there. This isn't just me. Oh, I watched a Joe Rogan clip. Like, I lived this experience with my family and my daughter. She is actually the youngest person they've ever treated with stem cells. And I guess in younger people, stem cells work a little bit better. The other thing is you on your diet, which we keep her on. And it's like 80-20. On the weekends, we can wild out now because we just can. But they even said when you're on a diet and doing these things, the stem cells tend to work a little bit better. So these are all things from my experience I wanted to share with you.
It's a beautiful story, man, because I can't imagine what it's like when it's your child going through something like that, where there's so little answers. But I'm really, really, really happy that you found
the guy on my left. Is it your left or right? The one with the white shirt on. He doesn't say much, does he? Just saying. It's all been the other guy, really.
A solution for that. That's beautiful, and early on as well, because like if she hadn't had such a proactive dad, like, then maybe this would have been something that would have plagued her whole life, man. So I think you can give yourself props and give yourself some flowers for that, man. Yeah.
Well, thank you, and that's why I was drawn to you, because a lot of the things you went through, I was like seeing that, like, all, because it took them like 3 months to figure out, like, hey, we think it's arthritis. You know what I mean? It's just like you go through all these things, and I saw you go through it. But I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that, because if down the road there's something that you're seeking, if I can give you any info, if it's helpful for what you're doing.
Funnily enough, there was a guy in clinic that I got talking to, this Canadian dude who was talking about Panama and saying it was next on his radar. So yeah, could well be, man. Could well be.
Cool. I just want to put it on your radar from someone who's actually experienced it, because I know, because even when you're talking about going through these spiritual things and shamans and all this stuff like that, I understand the desperation to heal my child. So when you're talking about that to heal yourself, like, I'm like, dude, Lord, take me. Don't let, like, because my daughter could barely walk. We could barely hold her because all her joints were inflamed and she wasn't sleeping. And you're just like, what is going on? And as parents, you feel like you're failing them. And so I understand where you're coming from with a lot that you know what I mean?
Oh man, I'm just getting upset about his daughter. Yeah, I can imagine. And then it's like, it's bad enough when it's for yourself, but when it's for your daughter or kids, it's like you'll do anything for them. Like, there's nothing on this world you wouldn't do for them. So I do actually feel for him from here. It's bad.
Like, I've seen your videos where you get upset, and I just understand that, and that's why I've been so drawn. And I just wanted to make sure that I presented that to you, because if let's say it's something that could help your life, I would love to see that. So not pushing you in that direction, but I want to see you get better.
No, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. A man with his health has 1,000 dreams. A man without his health has one dream: to get healthy.
That's
So,
right, man. Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I can only imagine what the struggle is. My brother actually has Lyme disease, and you know, I hold a certain amount of guilt because he got it, because I convinced him to come work with me and go on this crazy dream chasing hailstorms, and we were out in Oklahoma, and he got this bug bite. And I remember when he got it, it was like this weird target-shaped bug bite. And he said, "What do you think this is? Like, this is weird. I've never had anything like this. It really hurts." And I was like, "Dude, it's nothing. You know, quit being a little bitch." Well, fast forward to 10 years later, and he's telling me that he just doesn't feel good. He feels lethargic. At this point in my life, I was really working out a lot, so I tried to get him into CrossFit. And he started working out with me, but he started telling me that every time he worked out, his joints would be hurting and that he would feel like totally drained. And I'm like, dude, it's because you don't work out and and your diet isn't the best. Like, you know, quit being lazy. Like, I basically, you know, was like, you know, totally disregarding what he was saying. And it wasn't till years later that he got diagnosed with Lyme disease. And so it's like,
but that's not your fault. That's the educate. Like, there's so little, and this is what I found out. There's so little education on this, which is crazy.
Is there a charity for Lyme disease? Anyone know? If you read this, you listen to this. Is there a charity for Lyme disease? Because when we're 500 subs and we got super chat, that's what I want to do, man. Well, around that mark, I want to do a super chat when we're 500 subs and I've got it. I want to do a super chat and I want to donate it to something to do with N. And I think Lyme disease charity would be a perfect match.
Because it's like, even for me, they say it's like almost impossible to get it in the UK. I've known 4 people who in my circle of people that I know who've got Lyme disease. So it's like, but there's no education. So like, until I got Lyme disease and learned about it, even like, and this wasn't until like 6 years into my illness, I didn't even know about those circle rashes. I don't like, so it's really not, I wouldn't beat yourself up about it because they're not pushing the education of it enough for us to know what the hell it even is, like, and what to do about it. Because
hopefully we can find out sometimes, girl. Because when I do actually do super chat one, that's what I want to do.
Apparently, if you catch it in those early days and you get a short course of antibiotics, you just get sorted out. But when it's in your body for a long time, it just does a lot of damage, and it's a lot harder to get past it. Yeah. But I'd release yourself. Yeah. I'd release yourself of that guilt, man. I would, because yeah, it really is. There's a fundamental problem with how much they're educating people about this.
Yeah, part of it is just understanding like what you must have gone through, because I know him telling me, he literally would say, I feel like I'm crazy because the doctors, you know, are telling me that it's nothing, that I'm imagining it. And so, you know, he was having these conversations with me, and I was even thinking like, oh, you know, what is going on, like kind of brushing it off. And that's my own brother, you know? So it's just like, you know, I can only imagine what it's like to actually be going through it and not having an answer, you know, to that question, like what is wrong with me? I mean, it's its own kind of hell not knowing.
It sucks, and it sucks like when you go to the doctors and they also don't know what's wrong. Like it drives you. Well, it drove me mad. I literally hit psychosis point, but it is it's mad. It's mad.
Yeah. And then it forces you to seek out these answers, which once you find answers, you can help other people find answers. And that's why I wanted to share that story with you as well, because I do believe it's something worth looking into at that high level, especially because you said stem cells worked. That's when I was like, oh my God, I got to talk to Ren. I don't care how I get a hold of him. I just want to tell him that honestly, because I just want to see you do good, you know, and I just know how health is. And anyway. Yeah. Enough.
Yeah, no, I'm ready, mate. You know what? I there's a nice little analogy of like, you know, like mountain climbers or runners sometimes, like Olympic runners, they'll go up mountains to train so they've got low oxygen, so that they can, when they come down to like properly oxygenated environments, they're like, oh, I feel supercharged. I feel like once I finally crack the code and get out of this, that's what I'm going to feel like. I'm going to feel like I've come down from this mountain and I'm like, oh, I can run without it, you know, it's going to just be breathing. And I'm really looking forward to what it's going to feel like to be able to be creative within this space where I'm not held back by like physical limitations of my own body. And I do firmly believe I can get there because I've seen other people get there. So I'm really like, I'm confident that I can do it because I'm too much of a persistent little bugger to stop looking into a fan.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
go.
wonderful.
Well, I'm excited for you and proud that you've taken this route because a lot of people, you know, struggled, and I see that, and you've really been persistent, and even to put out the type of music and try to balance those things out. It's incredible, man. It's freaking incredible. Now, we're about an hour and 30 minutes in.
Yeah, we're about to end it here, guys.
Do you want to say hello to Sam? I'll see if he's in.
Hold on.
Yeah, let's do it.
I want to see Sam. I want to see Sam. Who wants to see Sam? Let's see Sam before we end it.
Do you want to come and say hello to the boys?
Sam's is...
Wait, actually, grab a chair. Grab that little stool. You're going to have to talk into the mic as well. Oh, yeah, I'll reel him in. What a lucky surprise. Let me close this.
Take the stool then.
You're gonna have to talk into this thing now, otherwise we're gonna have serious.
We can get close and personal.
We get close and personal. Here he is, mate.
Hello.
Hey.
Oh, Sam then.
This is amazing. We got the dynamic duo in the house. Now, I followed, like, I don't know if you're familiar. There's this artist from America named Futuristic, and he worked with this videographer, Jacob Owens. And they were like this dynamic duo coming through the ranks. And seeing how well you guys work together, this is bananas. So, what's up, Sam? How you doing, player?
Yeah, good.
Speaking to this
yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I think just the fact that we've been able to build a relationship for so long is so. Like,
you might not know. I put this somewhere online, but Sam filmed the first ever video of me performing a song. Like
really?
When I was like 15, 16 years old, something like that.
It's like, yeah,
it was a long time ago, but
that's absolutely epic.
That ever went on.
The first person to video then at all time. This is the guy, man. You got to show some flowers.
YouTube of me, Sam filmed that, which is funny. That we're like now here, like years later.
Yeah, like brothers. So you guys met through the arts, just like him filming, or did you guys know each other before that?
So these camps that I talked about, these like hippie festival thingies. It's my brother, my brother from one of these camps, bro. It was Sam used to go to one of these. Yeah. Sam used to have this like hair that went down to like he looked like Conan, and he was a lady killer. Well, he still is a lady killer, but he's a one lady man now. But he kills that one lady.
Yeah, shout out to Lucia.
I second that notion. I'm a man of God now.
Hey, I was curious. What was the inspiration for your like one takes? Like, where did that come from? Was there a director or?
So, we've both always loved one takes. There's the film Victoria that came out in 2015 in Berlin. That's like a one shot. The whole film's like a true one shot. It's not got a single hidden cut in it at all. They filmed it over like three days, and on the third take, the third try, on the third night, they got it. And it's just like this amazing kind of journey through Berlin, starting in a nightclub, traveling through cafes, rooftops, and it's just a stunning piece of work. And then after seeing that, I've just been so inspired to kind of follow that and kind of explore the medium of one shots, because it is a huge limitation, but it's also such a huge doorway for like such creative expression. I think with the use of one shot, it's also like you can't hide things anywhere near as much. You try and hide as much as you can, like all the cables, things like this, but generally if you're seeing the full environment, you can't really hide behind a lot of things, especially with live sessions. If you've got cuts, you're more likely to have done like 20 takes and taken the best bits from each of them. But if you're doing a live session, one shot, or like a piece that's like truly live, you really get a whole other emotional journey there that you don't get like from a cut piece. So I think using those kind of live
is very difficult. Like now, I'm live. If you make any errors or anything like that, or you say the wrong thing, you could be in trouble. So you've got to be very careful. So, yeah.
Situations, and then using one shots alongside that, it kind of they work hand in hand to really kind of take it to another level.
You've got to ask yourself a lot more difficult questions, like how, if this is like a 6 minute long piece, how are we going to make this engaging the whole time? Because when you've got a choice of loads of different things that you've done, you can be like, oh, that's cool, this is cool, and we kind of like stitch this Frankenstein's monster together, which is like a watchable thing. But whereas when you have this one all the way through journey, you really have to think about everything down to where the camera's going to be. It's like a dance, man. Like the choreography with the camera, it's like, where's the camera going to be? What am I going to be doing? How can we do something interesting here? So there's a lot more you have to think about to make it engaging, which is exciting for me.
No, and the relationship again between the camera and the performer is so much more intimate, I think, in a lot of those situations, because
you can actually tell with some videos I've seen, the chinchilla which releases tomorrow, the camera angles, how they were moving around the artist. You could tell that they were really thought about it, man. I wonder, what was that a one take? Chinchilla, with her in it, wasn't it?
Moving off each other more, and because you've got to be in tune with each other on such a level, because it's so much easier to mess up and have to go again. Like with Money Game, we ended up doing like 186 takes to get that right.
Oh my god!
So it's like
you're not meant to tell them that. We did it in one, mate. Yeah.
Well, no, the thing is, like, you're not like that. Just is part of our creative journey, and the fact is that we wanted to make that right. And if you're not getting those moments where you're having the relationship between the camera and the performer, then you just got to do it again. And I think that's just something that I love about working with you, is like the level of perfection that we kind of strive for and we really want to like achieve is amazing. It's like a lot of people will give up, but we'll keep going to that 5 or 6 in the morning and just until we get it right. It's like as difficult as that is, but I think that's something that's just something to really like.
To redeem ourselves, we did High Rain in 3 takes.
This
High Rain 3 days, 1 take.
This is what's crazy, because there is art in everything, but we don't always tap into the art. And you guys together, or Sam, this is the difference between videography being a job. All right, get the camera set. All right, stage 1, lights on, talk. Robot. Between, this is art. This is this back and forth thing that we have together. And it's so amazing because it translates on camera. This is why your one takes are so bananas too, because,
I love them. They're so raw. I mean, it's a performance, and that's what you're getting. It's like, it's a complete performance, and it feels like a live show, that energy from a live show, because it is like a one-take true performance where you have to nail it.
Yeah, definitely.
I personally love that creative choice.
You both are committed to a character or whatever, because like even like the epic thing, Ren brought this up earlier with the gunshot on the Screech joint. Like when I saw that, I was like, bruh, like that, it's like sometimes these little subtleties, they're right under your nose. Why didn't I think of that type of thing? And you guys are just home running it. And for the audience, I want to tell them, so okay, I'm gonna put the cat out the bag. Ren, I did a parody of Genesis called Mushy Peas. And I did a little one take. I'm using your mannerisms. Like, I like avocados. Like, you know what I'm saying? Bro, it was so hard. And it's a minute long. I was like, bro, like trying to get my lips, like make sure I knew the lyrics. And I'm like, these dudes are walking around acting, hi, buddy, ha, ha, ha. Like, bro, you're committed. And so I was like, wow. Because that was the first time I ever tried to do a one take. I was like, let's just do it and just have some fun with it, But bro, like it's not easy. So like when you
man, like even with Genesis, we're bumping into shit like
I nearly got run over.
Cars crossing the road, because we had that shot where we would just pegged it straight into the road, like didn't even wait for cars. But there were moments that were pretty sketchy.
It was right on the edge of that one. And there's like things like going back outside of the fish shop, because it was only us on that one. That was like super like skeleton crew. And just going in and asking the guys in the fish shop, "Oh, can we film here? We'll buy some chips." And then they were like, "Oh yeah, sure." And then one like, we went back to do it again because we wanted to use a different camera setup, just a bit more lightweight. And then the fish shop shut, so then we had to come back again. And it's like little things like that. And then it's like running back out the fish shop. I didn't have anyone spotting me or anything. So the amount of times I just bumped into the wall, and it's just like little things like that are really hard because you've got to get it right in that one. But
are you guys gonna work together on the Netflix Black Mirror movie? That's wonderful.
100%. Yeah, we've been speaking about this. This is like the next big step. I think we're gonna we're probably going to self-fund a pilot now that there's a lot more attention on my stuff. We're like, luckily we're in a financial position where that's becoming more and more likely by the day. So what we want to do is just make a start. I've written 6 episodes for it already.
6 episodes.
What I really want to do is fund the pilot, have a proof of concept, and then just walk in, and then also have a proof of audience, and then
pop it down on the table,
slam it down. And be like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on
well,
now.
with your demonstration through High Ren and the story of Jenny and Screech, it's like right when you said it, it only makes sense. And like
when I've been involved with several charities,
Billy and Kendrick and try to do the like. I get it. I was like, bro, because I'm a fan of Black Mirror, and then the other one, it's like Space. It's like an animated one. You said I've seen it, and I just was like, bro, you guys would go crazy. And it's so fascinating. That's why earlier I asked, do you want to tour? Because to do this type of stuff, I
think they've asked all the questions now. I think they're just really trying to struggle into know what to ask.
That would happen, because for me, like I have said,
fair enough, they've done a good job.
Overarching dream is to do something like that, because I think also there's a lot. I think with the music career, it burns out a lot quicker, because unless you're like Keith Richards and like a zombie who's like beat death. I think he'll outlive all of us, to be honest. I think, unless you're like just built for that life, I think, for me, I see a lot more of a long career in doing something like that and being more, just more of a taking almost like a director's role in this whole situation.
Well, that's kind of what he does with all the videos we do anyway. It's something that actually just seems to have come so naturally to you that it only feels like an organic development for you.
Cheers, Anna. It's really nice, we have a nice thing to say. Obviously, I don't know who's watching, because all I can tell is amount of views and not everyone's talking. So I don't know if the viewer count's right or not. So it's like nice to see people. Remember to subscribe. I will be doing more stuff in time like this.
Even when I'm collaborating,
and I release videos every 2 days, maybe. I release shorts as well, so there's quite a lot of bit of content coming on, man.
Just I don't know what I would want to leave or what I would want to inspire other people to do is just really like help uplift each other when we can. And I think in that role, I think I've just refined the skill of trying to get the best out of somebody and getting them to believe in themselves, which gives them an opportunity to deliver their best performance. And I think in the director seat, I think what I would do is I'd probably be in a lot of the episodes, the initial ones, and then as it progresses, take more of a backseat director's role. I don't know. It's exciting. It's very exciting.
Yeah. It makes sense, because you're not contained by a genre. There's no one musical genre that's been able to contain you. So why would you have?
I was meant to go 15 minutes ago.
A little bit dislike about being a musician in a competitive market, like
hello Victoria, thank you, lovely.
Like how much money?
Let me stop a second. I've only been glued for 5 days, so can you imagine in 2 months' time, 6 months' time. My real vision is to be the #1 reaction YouTuber for them. That's what I want to be. That's my aim. That's what I want to get to. That's a big shout. But all my content is going to be on Ren, around Ren, who people knows, that kind of thing. So it might not be 100% Ren, but it's going to be around Ren. So that's where we're going to go with it. I've only seen 5 videos, and I'm purposely not watching the others so I can react to them. So I'm learning stuff all the time on Ren.
Because there's nobody else doing this idea. Hopefully no one's going to watch this and steal it, otherwise I will come for you. And then but like
we got your back,
because it doesn't really exist, and I really want to I just really want to create something hopefully timeless that people can look back on and be like, or pave the way for.
Victoria, just remember to sub them if you aren't already, and follow if you like it.
For kids who want to get into the same world, like I can't. I was saying this to Sam the other day. I was like, I can't wait until I go on YouTube and I see someone who's doing something like the Taylor, Jenny and Screech, but a lot better than I am. Like if I planted in a seed in someone's idea, I'm not going to feel jealous. I'm going to be like, this is so cool. If I planted a seed in some kid's eye that becomes like this amazing writer that's performing these style of songs, I'm going to be like, I'm going to feel proud as hell, man. Really proud. Yeah.
Now, not to give anything away, but are there certain themes that you're exploring? You said you
Yeah,
got,
so
like, episodes.
it's kind of like
Yeah, lovely. Honestly, I've had 266 subs now in 5 days, 17,000 views. So it's like remembering everyone's name is very difficult. Unless someone's in chat often, then obviously I remember them.
it is quite dystopian and dark. Like for some reason, I get attracted to those things for some reason, which is weird because
I'm so
such
glad
an
as well, honestly.
outstanding good citizen of moral fibre.
It's not because I've had the views or anything. I'm really enjoying Ren. Ren himself, the guy Ren. Ren is the kind of guy I would be friends with, 100%, and I would have all the time in the world for him. And it wouldn't be nothing to do with money. It would just literally, I would just want to be friends with him.
And yeah, it's just quite a lot of things that I love. I'm just taking a lot of influence, like the Stanley Kubricks of the world, Tim Burton's of the world, Guy Ritchie's of the world, and mixing that in. I love sci-fi, I love horror, and just kind of, but making music and that kind of like spirit of counterculture music, punk, hip hop, all of those things, marrying those things into like these kind of calamity episodes where things are going wrong for these characters with this story. It's kind of like the Tale of Jenny Screech is almost a proof of concept, except it's going to be a lot more. There's going to be different characters. It's not all going to be one shots. Maybe I'm sure we'll have some episodes that are, but it's going to be a lot more like thought out, scripted. We're going to get different music producers on board and stuff like that. And
9 a.m. tomorrow, Jenny, Victoria. My new video comes out. I'm not telling you what it is though. You gotta wait and see. But it's coming out at 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Make it a real spectacle. But it's yeah, it's kind of like, it's hard to summarize. It's like almost like a modern kind of Rocky Horror Show, Grease kind of feel to it, but not that at all either.
Yeah, there isn't really anything to associate it with. You could probably be like, it's a bit of about 30 different things that are all coming together, and that's like just our influences.
It's hard to describe it, but I can see it very, very clearly up here.
Very clearly, we've got a very clear vision. We've spoken about it for a very long time, but it is one of those ones. It's like, it is that kind of small format that is Love, Death and Robots, but a musical version. But it's got the dark elements, but it's also got the light, and it's got the dark comedy, but it's also got this and it's got that, and it's like there's so much scope for it, and it kind of is a reflection of Ren's musical journey because it's so broad and goes in so many different ways. It's our visual love and what we love visually, and
I've got the freedom to do whatever genre I want, and that's what I love about it as well. It just ticks all the boxes for me if I get it off the ground.
Yeah, what did I say? The last genre bender. Air, wind, fire. He's like, Kubrick, Tarantino. He was like, bro, he's literally Aang. We're talking to Aang, bro. Give him a blue arrow on his forehead, bro. Come on. We gave him the flowers. Give him the blue arrow. Epic. Now, I'm going
to use that on one of my YouTube channel names.
And man, you guys, he walked in the room. You lit up, Ren. This is awesome to see friends work with each other to build things together. I freaking love it, man. It's awesome. Like, seriously, love the energy.
I love this video. It's been a long one, but I have loved it. I hope everyone else has as well.
That's the foundation. And sometimes we're missing that in this industry.
Me nearly 2 hours.
And I love to see it, man. When I get to see that authenticity, it's super dope, man. So this is...
Well, we've been streaming over 2 hours.
So, anyways, my man, I think that's kind of a good note to... Yeah, get right off into the sunset. Actually, can I ask one more question, man? And I think I kind of...
Yeah.
I think I know the answer, but the pig mask. Now, I think, well, I don't know.
He won't tell us. He won't tell us.
I think
there's no way he's going to tell us.
But everybody has these interpretations, and it was kind
no
of
way
like
he'll tell us.
Earlier, like, people start perceiving these things that And I was like, sometimes people are hitting me up, and I'm like, bro, like, yeah, I feel you, but it's like, is it just up for interpretation, the pig mask?
Well, it's got a lot of intention behind it, but but I don't want to tell you what it is.
I told you, there's no way you're getting out of it.
Maybe there'll become a point where it makes sense to artistically reveal it. I like it. I like that it creates a conversation. I like that it creates people asking that question, and I like people putting their explanation onto it, because it also creates interesting insights for me to.
I've heard people tell me what it is. Oh, this is what it means, Dave. This is what it means. Obviously, no one knows what it means because he's saying here he hadn't told anyone. So it's all a guess.
Look into as well when other people go, actually, this represents this. It represents greed. It represents George Orwell. All of these things. So I like to, yeah, I don't really want to say what it means for me. Maybe there'll become a point where artistically I want to reveal that in a song, but yeah, I don't want to tell you, mate.
Yes.
Good.
No,
Don't.
I love it. I
Don't.
love the mystery.
Because that's what I felt like when I started seeing all these interpretations. Like, this could make sense. People are like, Lord of the Flies, this, that. I'm like, damn, Jaina. But anyways, like,
he's making out that he didn't want him to tell him, but if he told him, he would be so happy. Yeah, he wanted to know. Don't make out he didn't want to know, man.
dude, I love it. That's tight, man. And I wouldn't expect it any other way from an artist such as yourself. So, man, this was a blessing. I have to say thank you again. We gave you flowers, man. We laughed, we cried, we had a good vibe. Yeah, hey, mushy.
Yeah, oh, yeah, mate, you tried mushy peas for the first time. he hated it.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of mushy peas.
Hey, thank you. Okay, so
I'm on team mushy peas, so we got.
Yeah, I'm team gravy. That's me.
For anyone who does decide to check out the mushy peas one take parody that I did, I was eating guacamole in that video. This was an authentic reaction. I literally, because I thought, so that's why it's a parody. Because when I reacted to Genesis, I finished it. I'll send it to you. I'll send it to Connor.
Okay.
I haven't released it. You know, it's just, I was just messing around, and I wanted to kind of like talk to you in person to get your vibe, because I didn't want you to be like, this fucking asshole, what the hell is this? Like, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's my thing, man. I'm an old fart having fun, man. Yeah. That's what you see when you get on our channel.
Very much.
Yeah.
But this was an amazing interview. I think this is the perfect time to end it. You got anything you want to say before you bounce out?
Oh, I mean, once again, we're just so grateful that you gave us the opportunity. I mean, I think it's remarkable. It says a lot about your character. That you mess with us, and that, you know, I am super excited for everything that you're doing, the Black Mirror-ish, you know, musical. If
well done, guys.
We can support, let us know. But, you know, at the end of the day, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope everyone's enjoyed this stream.
My side as well.
Be chill,
I love
man.
watching. I've said this as a comment on, and I mean it. I'm not just skipping through and being like, I'm genuinely watching your guys' videos through, and I really appreciate and just I love watching them, man. And that's why I said yes to this as well. Is I think you guys are great, and I think a big reason why a lot of my following are resonating with you guys is because you're great. It's just very, very entertaining and watchable. So yeah, I want to say thank you for supporting me as well. It really does mean
everyone share the love.
Awesome. Well, the support.
Give love, share love.
Keep it moving. You guys, we got to get my man Ren over 1 million subs. So if you watch this and you're not subscribed, which you probably are already, but hey, tell someone else to subscribe. It don't freaking matter. You guys.
Call your mom. Call your grandma.
Tell a friend. Tell a foe. Tell a mundo. You guys. Hey, thank you, Ren, for being a part of it. What, man? Cyber hug, my dude. I appreciate it.
Loved it. Loved this. Oh, that's you. Loved this.
Sam, it was nice to meet you, brother, man. And we know now the man behind the camera doing all the magical.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, when you said it was a dance, you weren't lying. I mean, I was watching Animal Flow, and I was like, dude, is this a one take? And I was just like, I could barely tune into the lyrics because I was watching the camera work, and I was like, oh my God, this is one take. This is so brilliant. The fact that you said it was a dance, that's exactly it.
Yeah, a lot of these are dances. That was actually Luke that did that one.
Yeah,
but
that one wasn't me.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's a dance. Yeah.
Cool. Well, on that note, we're out of here, you guys. Thank you again, and much love.
All right, you guys.
Right, guys. That's me done. You've had me for 2 hours, and I'm buggered. I'm glad everyone's had a good time. Yeah, man. I'm glad everyone's had a good time and a chill time. This is going to be on my channel. If you want to watch it back, you can do. Live video tomorrow coming out, reaction. Remember to do that follow, that sub if you haven't already, and we'll see you another day. I'm off work for 2 weeks, so hopefully I'm doing some live streams over the 2 week. Cheers, Victoria. I hope I see you in chat again, lovely. And we'll have a chill time. Have a lovely day, love.